NBA mid-season review plus grades and analysis. What is going on? It is your boy Hoops Life 24Q7. Guys, I am just coming off a meditation and I'm feeling very zen right now, feeling very focused. But today we're going to be going over the top 15 teams in the Western Conference, giving them a grade and giving them an analysis from my own opinion, of course. I mean, come on, man, what else opinion would I have? Either way, yesterday I did the Eastern Conference teams and I'm going to put a link to that in the description if you guys want to check that out. That'd be awesome. But either way, man, let's dive straight into this video. First, we have the 15 seed Minnesota Timberwolves with a 7-29 record, and I am actually not going to be giving them a rating at all. Why? Because, man, they've been through a lot. And this is the only team I'm not going to give a grade to, but they've been through so much. Karl-Anthony Towns, brother, nothing but love, man. I know it has been tough out there for you guys. They just fired the coach. Now, Anthony Edwards is playing great ball, about 15 a game as a rookie, as well as Malik Beasley, who's averaging over 20 points a game for them at the shooting guard position. If you guys remember, this guy was on Denver last year, and he averaged 7 points a game and 18 minutes a game till he got traded. Now on Minnesota, he's averaging 20 points a game. So, wow, man, that's pretty impressive from him. But overall, I hope Big Cat, man, he hasn't played a lot of games this year. I hope he gets centered. I hope he finds his balance, man, because I'm out here praying for you, brother, and I hope everything goes okay. Nothing but love, nothing but blessings on this side. Next, we have the Houston Rockets with 11-23 record, and I'm going to be giving them a C overall rating. Christian Woods, before the injury, man, he was breaking out, averaging 22 points a game on 10 rebounds a game, shooting 55% from the field, 42% from three on 4 attempts a game. That's crazy efficient. Now, he hasn't played that many games. He's been out for a long time. But Houston went through a lot of changes this year, you know, because I feel like they brought over a lot of players like Christian Wood, like John Wall, like Boogie Cousins to complement James Harden, to want to make him stay there. But obviously he left, and now they did get Victor Oladipo in return, but he said he wouldn't resign because he's going to be going over to Miami in the offseason because they're not going to trade for him, because why would you give something up for him if he already said he's going to come there? But they put a lot of players around to build around James Harden, and then he left. So then it kind of left a pretty big hole in their team, and they are on a 13-game losing streak going into the midi break. We'll see what's going to happen going forward. I've already heard talks of trading John Wall even over to Miami, so we'll see what happens with that. I think a lot of people would be interested in John Wall with the way he's played this year, but going forward, I'm not too sure what the direction's going to be. But I do think that Houston is about to enter a rebuild mode. From there, we'll just see what they do, you know, because they're not in playoff contention this year, and I hope everything works out for them, but we'll see. Next, we have the Sacramento Kings with a 14-22 record, and I am also going to be giving them a C rating. Now, De'Aaron Fox is taking that next leap, and he is looking so good. My man is averaging 23 points, 8 assists a game, and dude, I love this kid's game, man. The Fox, swipe it, don't swipe. He is such a fantastic baller. If you don't get to watch Sacramento too many nights, man, get a league pass game for a night, maybe. It's $5.99 for a game. Watch De'Aaron Fox, dude. That kid is special. He puts up points, but he cuts, he slashes. He's fast as heck, man. It's crazy watching him play. Now, Harrison Barnes is also having a very solid year. Marvin Bagley hasn't had the best year. He's averaging about 14 points a game, but his defense has been hurting the team. Now, Sacramento as a whole, they're 9th in offensive points scored a game. But on the defensive end, they're on the lower end of that. So Sacramento's kind of had a weird year. They went on a 7-1 streak where they won 7 games, lost 1. And then following that up, they lost 9 games in a row. So they're kind of a hard team to predict, because when they're rolling, they look good. When Buddy Hield's hitting, when D Fox is swishing, and they got a great rookie, and Tyrese Halliburton, he's been playing fantastic, man. He compliments De'Aaron Fox not too bad. Those guys play pretty well together. And Rashawn Holmes, I really like his game. He's energetic guy. He does the dirty work, does a lot of those stats that don't show on the stat sheet. So Sacramento, I think you got a lot to look forward to. You got some very good players on that team, and you guys look to be trending. But Luke Walton and Alvin Gentry, I think they need to figure some things out and try and get that ball rolling. So overall, I'm giving them a C, but I do think that they're going to continue to progress forward. Next, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder with a 15-21 record, and I'm going to be giving them a B-. Now, 15-21 isn't the greatest record, No, but they lost Chris Paul and they're still playing good basketball and they win some big games time to time. And I tell you what, man, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has arrived. This kid is averaging 23 points a game. He was over 20 last year, but man, this dude is special. And Luguentz Dort, this dude, man, after playing a great defensive series against Houston last year on James Harden, when they went to the same college and they actually trained together when James Harden went back to visit his old college at Arizona State. But Lou Dort, man, this kid's a great defender. Now, his offensive shooting isn't that good right now, and he's the third leading scorer on the team with about 12 points a game, but he's shooting about 38% from the field. So if he can figure out that side of his game and start shooting a little more efficiently, I really think the backcourt of Lou Dort and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is gonna be a problem, man. And I think they're doing a Sam Presti style rebuild where they don't totally tear down the team, and this is also kind of what Danny Ainge did, and they stay relevant while still making the right deals because they got loads of picks. Don't forget, OKC has loads of picks, so they're gonna be fine. And if they want to keep Shai Gilgeous and they want to keep Lou and keep building that team, they have some bright side, man. OKC's not going away anytime soon, and they're always going to be a tough team to beat. Next, we have the New Orleans Pelicans, who have a 15-21 record, and I'm going to be giving them a C+ rating. C+ because I believe in this team, man. I believe in a lot of their players, and I think they have a good chance at getting in the playoffs this year. So they are 5th in points per game scored, 5th in rebounds per game, and they are 12th in assists per game. And I tell you what, man, Zion Williamson, he's going to be a problem. This guy is scoring 25, almost 26 points a game on 61% from the field. That is remarkable. Remember, this guy's 20 years old. He's only in his 2nd year in the league, and he hasn't even played a full season with just the 2 seasons that he's had. And then a lot of people have been really tough on Lonzo Ball to start the year at least, but he was averaging over about 17 points a game in February, and he was playing good basketball. Think about Zoe, man, and Zion Williamson in an interview with JJ Redick, or they did a podcast together, kind of elaborated on this, but he said Zoe will have 5-6 games that are really good, and he shoots very well, plays good defense, plays all around good ball, then have one game where he's off. And then that's where the media kind of tears into Lonzo, man. Lonzo is a baller, okay? I think, at least. I think he's going to be a great player, and I think he already is a very good player. So you take Zoe, you take Brandon Ingram, and you take Zion Williamson, and what they've done collectively this year, Zion 25, Brandon Ingram's at 23, and then Zoe's at 14 a game, almost 15. Those guys are the top 3 scorers on the team, and I think they're trending upwards. I really, really do. I think Van Gundy's got to figure out what he wants to do with that starting line. I'm not sure if Eric Bledsoe's the best piece starting. I think he could be good off the bench, but I really love the defense I see from Lonzo Ball and Josh Hart when they're together in the backcourt. That's actually a pretty scary defensive backcourt because Zoe's very good at D, and so is Josh Hart, and Josh Hart will do the dirty work, man. And I think overall, it wasn't the season I've expected from them so far. I thought they were going to come out with a little more hunger, but it hasn't quite happened yet. But I think I'm starting to see the wheels turn when they put Zion in the half-court offensive set and have him initiate the offense, because when they do that, man, that's pretty... They're a little it's trouble, man, because Zion is coming. Zion is coming, and he's an all-star. Congrats on that, Zion. Next, we have the Memphis Grizzlies with a 500 record of 16-16, and I'm going to be giving them a B-. Now, they are 5th in assists, and they are 8th in opponents' points a game scored. So when you have a good defensive set already, that's a great foundation to build on. Now, they haven't had Jaren Jackson the whole year, Jaren Jackson Jr. He hasn't been there the whole year, and I'm not sure how long he's going to be out, but I know it's going to be a while, man. But Ja Morant is a problem, and there's a lot of guys like this in the West, but Ja is a problem. He's at almost 20 points a game, and he's playing ball, man. The kid is young, and he's a hooper, man. His game is flashy. His game is crazy, dude. I really hope that he turns this Memphis team into a high-tier playoff level team. Now, Dylan Brooks, he's averaging about 16 points a game for them, but he's only shooting 40% from the field. So if he could get his field goal percentage up to about 45% at least, man, him and Ja Morant are going to be a lethal backcourt. But the percentage are down. But like I said, there's been no Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, Valanciunas is a great center that they have over there. He just does the job, man. He's putting up 15 and 11. I tell you what, guys, my buddy that I play 2K with, man, he always we do fantasy drafts, and he destroys me with Valanciunas. It's actually crazy, dude. He's got Valanciunas shooting threes like Steph Curry against me. So Valanciunas, man, great season so far, but you gotta chill on 2K for me, man. Next, we have the Golden State Warriors with a 19-18 record, and I'm going to be giving them a B rating overall. Now, they have not had Klay Thompson this year. He's been out the whole year, and he will be out the whole year, and Steph Curry had a slower start to the year. And then he realized, as all great players do, that he had to change his game up for the team that he was on. He couldn't be so much pass the ball, old Golden State offensive sets. Instead, he had to be more aggressive, drive a little bit more, shoot more, and he's back up to 30 points a game, and he's shooting crazy efficiently. He's at 47 from the field, 41 from 3-point, and 93% from 3. Now, for Steph, those aren't eye-popping numbers, but for anyone else in history, those are fantastic numbers, man. So he's playing great ball. Now, they are 12-6 at home, but they did go on a 3-game losing streak heading into the midseason break, the midi break. Now, do you guys remember that game Steph had when he had that 62-point bomb up against Dame Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers, man? After all that talk about Logo Lillard saying he's the king of the deep three, and then Steph comes in and drops 62 on him. That tells you what type of player Steph is, man. That tells you what type of mindset he has. He hears the talk, he made a tweet about it, and then he went out and he performed. That's what superstars do, man. And now Kelly Oubre had a really slow start to the year from 3. I know he missed a crazy amount of threes in a row, but he's got it all the way up to about 32% now from 3, and he's playing a lot better ball. And he's such a dynamic offensive player and sometimes defensive player, and he's an offensive rebound, a putback jam monster, dude. And then Andrew Wiggins is playing really well. He's shooting over 40% from 3 this year, averaging 17 points a game. So Wiggins has been a good complementary player. Oubre's been a good complementary player. Pascal hasn't been exactly what I thought he'd be off the bench. And then James Wiseman, man, he is going to be, I think, one of the absolute keys to their team when they try to make a championship run in the next couple years when Klay is back. That dude is scary. He's a problem. And I think with a year under his belt, coming back next year, he could have a super breakout. He's hitting threes, man. This guy hits threes. Also, I know a lot of people give Draymond Green some slander, but I got to tell you guys, in February, Draymond Green was averaging 11 assists a game. That's special. That's really good, man. That is fantastic. From a power forward to average 11 assists a game for a whole month. Dude, this guy, he's still got the whole bag. It's just when he decides to bring out certain offensive parts of his game. And I think when we get Klay back and they really try to make that push and they understand that they're a contender, then I think we're about to see a totally different Draymond Green. At least in the playoffs, I know we'll see a different Draymond Green. Then next, we have the Dallas Mavericks with the 18-16 record, and I'm going to be giving them a B-, mainly because of the slower start they had in the year. But going into the midi break, they went on an 8-2 run, so their team is trending in a much more positive direction because they were under 500 for a long time. And then Luka Doncic, man, I think the reason he's not in MVP conversation is simply because the record, because his numbers are there. His numbers are there. I mean, my guy's averaging 28 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. And now, I don't necessarily know if Josh Richardson's been the best fit on their team. Seth Curry said that they made a bad business decision getting rid of him. And I think Josh Richardson's a real good baller, man, but I don't know if that's the right fit for him on that team. We'll see going forward. Jalen Brunson's a great piece off the bench. I think Willie Cauley-Stein's playing all right this year. But all the trade talks with Porzingis, man, I really hope that that does not end up happening, because I think Doncic and Porzingis are going to be lethal. And I know it all depends on if Porzingis is healthy, because if Porzingis is healthy, man, but if he's not, you know, I get it to an extent, but I think you have to bet on that duo, because if you bet on that duo, man, the upside is astronomical with those two players, because I'm a huge Porzingis fan, man. 7'3" Latvian power forward that can chop it from anywhere, man. He's got a bit of a ball handle, and if you notice, man, he's got the Carmelo mid-range jab step, because he played with Melo on the Knicks. That's where he was drafted. So Porzingis has a great offensive bag. And overall for the Mavericks, I know that they are trending upwards, and I hope they continue to do that, because they're a fun team to watch, man. Last year, they were like the best offensive team ever, statistically. So they're a fun team to watch. Luka Doncic is must-see TV. Kristaps Porzingis is must-see TV. Moving forward, I believe in this team to make the playoffs. We'll see how far they go. I do hope that they win around this time. If they don't, then they got to come back and maybe add some more ancillary players to try and figure things out. Next, we have the San Antonio Spurs with the 18-14 record, and I am giving them an A-. The San Antonio Spurs have impressed me to this point absolutely. Greg Popovich had made the playoffs 22 years in a row until last year, and I know you know, we have that competitive mindset, man, that you are going to come back stronger than ever, and he has with the team he has. Now, LaMarcus Aldridge hasn't had the greatest year. He's averaging his lowest points since his rookie year. We averaged 9. This year, he's averaging 13. So, but he hasn't played all the games. He's missed a lot of games, and I hope he gets healthy and starts trending upwards, because that's going to help their team a lot. But we got to take a second and say, how the heck was DeMar DeRozan not an all-star, man? This guy deserved it. He's had a career high for assists a game at 7. He's averaging 20 points a game. He is shooting efficiently. DeMar DeRozan, man, you deserve it, brother. You're having a great year. San Antonio's 7th in the playoff seeding right now. It is, you know, it is what it is, and you deserve it, man. The fans know it. We know it. So great job out there. Now, the long arm DeJounte Murray, man. He is a problem defensively, and his offensive game is coming. He's had 15 points a game, getting better every year in classic Spurs style, classic Kawhi Leonard style. Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan came out strong, but he's just getting better every game, and he is just, imagine DeJounte Murray and Kawhi Leonard on the Spurs, man. Their defense would be nuts. With Greg Popovich coaching, man, they can go anywhere they want. But again, I do expect them to make the playoffs, because anytime you have Greg Popovich as your coach, I don't care who's on your team, I expect you to make the playoffs, because Popovich is a master of his craft. Now, quick question for you guys about the San Antonio Spurs. Do you guys think that you should trade LaMarcus Aldridge? Do you guys think that maybe you should try to get some pieces back for him, or some draft picks back for him? Or do you think you could maybe buy him out? Is that something that you want? So let me know in the comments below what you think about LA. And I guess we'll end up seeing what they decide to do. Next, we have the Denver Nuggets with a 21-15 record, and I'm giving them a B- because they had a slow start to the year, and maybe it was fatigue coming off of the bubble. But Jokic seemed to have no issue. This dude is one of the best players I have ever seen play basketball. He's averaging 27 points a game, 11 rebounds a game, and almost 9 assists a game. And he's doing this shooting 56% from the field, 41% from 3, then 88% from the free throw line. That is absolutely insane. He is a center, and he's shooting 41% from the three-point line. And then Jamal Murray had a slow start to the year. He was in the teens, averaging points for a while. And then in February, he was averaging 25 points a game. That's also when he had that 50 bomb. And in that 50 bomb, it was a historic 50 bomb because he didn't shoot any free throws. And that's never happened in the history of basketball. Anytime you do something that's never happened in the history of basketball, I know they come up with a lot of random miscellaneous stats, but something like that, that's pretty impressive, man. So he's up to 22 points a game, and he's trending in a good direction. Looks like Bubble Murray is just Jamal Murray. So Jamal Murray, man, way to play. The beard's out, the beard's going, and we love to see good game from him, because when him and Jokic are balling, they're a fun team to watch. And then Michael Porter Jr. is averaging 14 points a game. He's shooting 50% from the field, 40% from 3. I do hope that he starts to change up his game a little bit. I like when he drives, I like when he slashes, and I think he could be far more than just a spot-up shooter. Knicks, I wish we picked him, man. And then Campazzo, I believe is his name, off the bench, that point guard. I'm not sure where he's from, man, but that dude he's a smart player. He actually reminds me of Pablo Prigioni, who used to play for the Knicks, man. I like this kid. I like the way he plays. He's an older guy, but he's a good guy. He's a good player. And then the biggest issue I think that Denver's having from last year to this year is they no longer have Jeremy Grant, and they no longer have Malik Beasley. And last year they didn't average too many points for him. I think Jay Grant was at about 14, and Malik Beasley was at 7. But this year Jeremy Grant's averaging 23, and Malik Beasley's averaging over 20. So both those guys proved that if they were starting on a team, they could average over 20 points. And if you have one of those guys off your bench and one of those guys playing a smaller role in your starting lineup, they're maximizing those minutes very efficiently, where now you don't have those guys, and it took away from some of your depth because they didn't bring in too many players. I mean, they brought in JaMychal Green, but Jeremy Grant, man, I mean, 23 a game on his own team, that's special. But overall, Denver's trending in a good direction as a 6th seed. I expect them to be in the playoffs. I expect them to win a round and potentially maybe another conference finals. I don't truly expect that to happen, But we'll see, man. We'll see, because last year I didn't expect them to make it either. So how can I say that they won't make it this year? I can't, because they can. So next in the 5 seed, we're going to be doing the Portland Trailblazers. They have a 21-14 record, and I am giving them an A overall rating, because Dame freaking Dollar, man. Doesn't matter who you put on this Cats team. It doesn't matter. Hulu has live sports. Hulu has live sports. Doesn't matter who you put on his team. He's going to get you to the playoffs. I mean, you guys remember years back when they lost LaMarcus Aldridge, Robin Lopez, Nicholas Batum, and Wesley Matthews, and they were like, oh, Portland's done. That was 4 of their 5 starters, Dame being the other one, and they made the playoffs that year, man. He doesn't miss the playoffs. And then CJ McCollum, oh my gosh, man, this was your year. I hope he comes back soon and he comes back okay, because he was averaging almost 27 points a game. CJ McCollum, I was waiting for that year where he breaks out, because his midi package is so clean. He's got a wet jump shot. He's clutch. He's clutch like Dame, man. You could trust CJ taking the last shot, and Dame will let him shoot the last shot sometimes, you know? And then there's been no Nurkic, but with no Nurkic, they got Enes Kanter back, and Enes Kanter, as you guys know, is an offensive board monster. He was their starting center when they went to the conference finals a couple years back, and he played ball, man. He works hard. He'll work till he is exhausted. I love that from him. And then Derrick Jones Jr. If you guys watch Portland, Derrick Jones Jr., he has some incredible blocks. He's a guy who won the dunk championship last year, and Derrick is he's actually turning into a really good basketball player, and he's a younger basketball player, so I like seeing that from him. But my favorite player in the whole entire league, man, Carmelo Anthony, has been scorching hot. He's averaging 14 points a game. He just had a game against LaMelo Ball. He had about 26 points, but he didn't even hit the rim on any of his shots. Look that up, man. If you ever see something like that, that is so crazy. He's about 400 points away. 400 points away from top 10 all-time scoring. That means every player who's ever picked up a basketball and had a dream to be in the NBA, and then every player that did make the NBA, Carmelo Anthony is about to be in the top 10 most points ever scored in the history of basketball. Round of applause for Melo. I got a video coming out about that the day that it happens. A tribute to my guy Melo, man. Nothing but love. He's playing fantastic ball off their bench. I love his game, man. I really hope this team pushes a couple rounds, gets out of the first round. I'm not sure what their ceiling is. I think it strongly depends on how CJ McCollum comes back, and if Nurkic comes back, then they can utilize Kanter off their bench, maybe pick someone up at the trade deadline. But overall, the first half of their season, they're playing really good ball, man, and I'm proud of Dame Dollar. He's playing fantastic. I know Steph put up the 62 points against him. Well, Dame came back, didn't have the best game, but he hit the game winner over Steph against Golden State. So nothing but love, nothing but props to those boys over in Portland. They're a really fun team to watch. A lot of cool players on that team, a lot of cool guys, man. Stay mellow, baby. Next, we have the Los Angeles Clippers with a 24-14 record, and I'm going to be giving them an A-. Now, I'm giving them an A-. Paul George. Can we cut the slander, man? Paul George is a baller. He is a hooper. I love his game. KD said it was his favorite player to watch play. He is so smooth with the basketball, man, and his game is butter. Watch this guy. He is incredible. I wish everyone on Twitter would calm down, man, because it kind of gets to him, and that sucks to see, because he is so special to watch play basketball. And I think Kawhi Leonard this year, he's averaging 27 points a game. And I think he should start being in this MVP talk, man. Now, I don't think he should be MVP or even top 3 or even 4, maybe even 5. But I think he should be in the top 10 MVP because it's deserving. And I hope he starts going down because he's playing a lot of games this year. He's averaging 27 points a game. Well, one of their bigger issues that they're having is with Lou Williams. Lou Williams, who's only averaging 12 points a game, where last year he was averaging 18 points a game. And I alluded to this into another video. I think the main problem for Lou Will's game is he's a pick and roll master. He's a maestro with the ball in the pick and roll, and he had a perfect complementary partner in Montrezl Harrell off the bench, and those two guys worked because it wasn't only Montrezl that he was dishing to, but because when he would dish to Montrezl, then when he wouldn't dish to Montrezl, the defense had to respect that with Montrezl, and it left him some more open shots, more open lanes. His little running floater he shoots. I know there was some talks about the Clippers trading Lou Williams, but he said if they trade him, he'll retire. So I don't see that happening, man. Overall, the Los Angeles Clippers are looking good this year. They're looking like a contender this year. I think Serge Ibaka is going to be huge for them come playoff time. And I actually really like Nick Batum, because if you have Nick Batum at the 2, Paul George at the 3, and Kawhi Leonard at the 4, you have those 3 guys. That is some extreme length. and that's going to be a defensive problem for a lot of players. I think it could be a problem for Bron, because those are 3 swingmen that can all guard him at different points of the game and give him troubles. They can all just come at him one at a time. It doesn't matter, just throw one at him and they're going to do a pretty good job. And Kawhi's going to do a great job. Kawhi's a great defender. Paul George is a great defender. But overall, yeah, I'm going to give the Los Angeles Clippers an A-. I like Ty Lue as their coach. I think he's done a good job. I think he's good at handling personalities, keeping things even in the locker room. He obviously did a great job with LeBron and Cleveland and Kyrie. He got them to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals, which has never happened before, against the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. So big ups, Ty Lue. Big ups, Los Angeles Clippers. And Paul George, way to start your year, man. I'm a fan over here, dude. So keep up the great work, man. Nothing but love from your boy. Next, we have the Los Angeles Lakers with a 24-13 record, 3rd seed in the West, and I'm going to give them a B+. Guys, with Anthony Davis out and Marc Gasol as your starting center and Montrezl Harrell as your backup center, I'm nervous for this team defensively, low post defensively. I love Dwight Howard on their team. I love JaVale McGee on their team. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Marc Gasol deal, and I know that Marc hasn't looked that great to start the year, but I think come playoff time, we're going to see a bit better Marc, kind of like a Rondo last year. I don't know if it's going to be to that caliber, but I think he'll definitely be better, because their defense is still 2nd in points allowed per game. So that's fantastic, man. That's really good, but I think there is some issues with that. Now, LeBron's been playing an MVP caliber year. I do not think he is the MVP. They did go 7-5 without AD up to this point. And LeBron, for me, man, he's the best player I've ever watched play basketball. There's no doubt about that. But this is the first year where I think I could say LeBron is not the MVP. I think he's playing great ball, but I think it's more or less the media's pushing that narrative because they feel bad because LeBron should have won it last year. LeBron was the best player in basketball last year. This year, it's hard not to give it to Joel Embiid. It's hard not to look at Nikola Jokic. It's hard not to look at James Harden, because they all have comparable records minus Jokic. Embiid has a better one. So I think this might be the year that I don't have LeBron in the top 3 MVP, but who knows, man? That could totally change. LeBron's like an engine, man. It takes him a second to rev up. Once he gets going, he's unstoppable. So he could totally turn that around, pull the narrative back, and win MVP. Now, I'm very proud of Kyle Kuzma. I think he's having a great year in the sense that he's becoming a star in his own role. He's slashing, he's cutting, he's boarding. He's playing hustle ball and he's doing his job. He's only at 11 points a game. I wish I could see him get up to about 15 points a game, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen. They got a lot of offense there. And then Dennis Schroeder, man, he's going to be fun to watch come playoff time. You know what I mean? Lakers are great to watch. Now, I'm not necessarily a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I am a LeBron fan. I enjoy his game. I respect his game. I appreciate his game. But Dennis Schroeder, he's going to be a problem. He is quick as lightning, and his defense is tenacious, dude. He is so good, and I really want to see if we could get Alex Caruso some more minutes. He's only averaging about 19 minutes a game. I think if he gets more minutes, he's a defensive stud too, and he brings energy, and he brings a lot of contagious energy, actually. And then you have him and Schroeder out there. I'd like to see what that backcourt can do together. I wish Caruso could get that 3-point shot improved a little bit, but overall, the Lakers, I'm giving them a B+ because they're still a 3rd seed in the West. They're still a great caliber team, but there's no AD, and I'm a little worried about their low post offense. Sorry, their low post defense. But we'll see how that develops, see if they do anything at the trade deadline going off to the end of the year before we do the final review for the year. Next, we have the 2 seed Phoenix Suns at 24-11 record, and I am giving them an A+ overall record. Monty Williams, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder. Wow, man. Wow, Phoenix is a 2 seed. Who expected them to be above the LA Lakers at this point, at the midpoint of the season? I didn't. I thought they'd be good, but not this good. They're playing incredible basketball. Chris Paul, what the heck, man? He takes the OKC Thunder to the playoffs last year. Now the Phoenix Suns are sitting at a 2 seed this year, and they hadn't made the playoffs for a long time, since 2010, back with Steve Nash. And then Devin Booker, he had a slower start to the year in the sense of points per games that he was scoring, but I think that was primarily due to gelling. I think it took a little bit to gel with Chris Paul, and once he did, February, he was averaging 28 points a game, and Book was shooting 52% from the field, 40% from 3, and 85% from the free throw line. So man's doing it. Book's doing it, dude. Book is an all-star, should have been voted in. You know, they don't have enough spots, man. We need like 5 more spots for all these all-stars I want in there. But Book, he deserved it, man. Absolutely. Being a 2 seed, come on, dog. It felt like the all-star game was selected so early that a lot of players were still getting going that we'll see that could have probably potentially made the all-star game if it was at a later date like it normally is. Now, Jay Crowder is someone that I did want to talk about because I think Jay Crowder is the X factor for this team. He hits timely threes. He is the veteran presence you want. He's a good defender. I like Jay Crowder's game for this team. I think he's a good fit. I do think Campaign is a Campaign sounds like campaign. I think Cameron Payne is a good defender off the bench. He's tenacious, man. He puts in the work. Mikal Bridges is a good player. He's playing actually incredible this year. He's up to 14 points a game. So he's balling. Cam Johnson has 10 a game off the bench. Dario Saric is someone I really like off the bench for that team as well. I love when he was back on Philly with Embiid. I thought they had good flow, but now he's coming off the bench for Phoenix and he's doing great. And then DeAndre Ayton, Mr. #1 overall pick. He's getting better every month. I think it was for him. He kind of had to take a bit of a step back to figure out what exactly he needs to do to best help this team, and he's a smart guy. I like DeAndre Ayton. I like his game, and I think he's figuring it out, and he's trending upwards. And if he trends upwards, man, look out. Phoenix is for real. And Chris Paul, brother, man, inspirational. What you do out on this basketball court, the way you paint your game out there, it's an artistry, man. You are a fantastic baller. You are one of the smartest minds of the game, if not the smartest mind of the game. I put you up there with LeBron, Rondo. It's simply impressive to watch, man. Your game, it's been a blessing to watch for all these years, to see your art out there. So nothing but love to you, CP3. Keep these boys trending. Keep these boys, you know, nailed down. And let's get this going, Phoenix. Let's make a run. Let's see Phoenix make a run, man. I think they totally can. We'll see what happens. But at the halfway point of the season, man, Phoenix has been great. Sensational. Truly. Way to go, Phoenix. And then finally, we have the Utah Jazz with a 27-9 record, the best record in basketball. So how do I not give them an A+? Now, to start off with the Utah Jazz, last year, they lost a 3-1 series to the Denver Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs. Dono had 2 50-point games. And then when that happens to a team that believes in themselves, now they didn't have Bogdanovich, but when that happens to a team that believes in themselves, what you really hope to see the next year is them say, no, we are that team and we should have been in that next round. And they have done that and more. Donovan Mitchell's at 25 points a game on 42% shooting from the field. Not that great. 42% for at least his MVP bid. And so if he can get up to maybe 27 points a game, get that percentage increase to about 45-46%, I think they're going to start talking about Donovan Mitchell as an MVP of this league. Rudy Gobert is playing great outside of the 40-point, 19 rebound performance from Joel Embiid, where they lost in overtime with that controversial game with some late, suspect calls by the refs. But overall, Mike Conley, yes, Mike Conley, man. Dude, you did it. You got an all-star bid, man, finally. This dude, the grit and grind, Mike Conley, man, over in Memphis, should have been an all-star numerous years. That he was going to go down as one of the best players in NBA history to never be an all-star. Not the case anymore. And I thought DeMar should have got it because he played great, but I'm so happy he went to Mike Conley. He's such a good guy. He's always winning awards in the league for being an outstanding citizen. So Mike Conley, man, nothing but applause on this end. Dude, especially after last year when they were talking so much smack on him. No, you believed in yourself, you believed in your game, and you came out this year and you proved it, and you're an all-star, and it's well-deserved. Way to go, Mike Conley. Incredible career so far to this point. Fantastic. Quinn Snyder's doing a great job coaching this team, but when you got Mike Conley at the point, you have Dono Mitchell at the 2, you have Joe Ingles, Bogdanovich, and then you have Rudy Gobert, and then you have Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. You got Favors where they reduced his minutes, and he's coming off the bench. Utah has a team. They have a full team. And when they are playing together and everybody's healthy and that motor gets rolling, man, they are going to be a tough out in the playoffs. They're going to be one of those teams that maybe won't necessarily make it to the finals. Or maybe not even necessarily to the conference finals, but to beat Utah, you are going to have to give it all because they're going to give it all to you. And Rudy Gobert is a great defender. I know Joel Embiid Joel Embiid's just a freak in nature, man. So it's almost like don't even count that game for Rudy because he's in the East anyway. He doesn't have to worry about him in the West. And Rudy Gobert is the best defensive center in the West, absolutely, bar down. And a lot of people have him for Defensive Player of the Year. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a video about that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. But this game is 3rd in points per game scored, 2nd in rebounds, and 4th for opponents' points scored a game. So they're playing great offense and they're playing great defense. That's a sign of a good team. Now, we'll see if they're going to be turned into a championship contender this year. To me, they're going to have to prove it in the playoffs first, you know, because you got to prove it before it's like, okay, this team's guaranteed getting this far. But I believe in Donovan Mitchell, man, and they've had a great first half of the season. Extremely impressive. They came out with a vengeance, mad about that 3-1 loss. I got nothing but respect for the Utah Jazz. I'm tired of people talking down on the Jazz, man. Salt Lake City's beautiful. Come on, man. Utah and Donovan Mitchell, they have some very marketable players, or they got a very marketable player, Spider Mitchell, man, and Rudy Gobert even. So show Utah, I think people should show Utah some more love, man, because they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. Anyway, man, those are all 15 teams in the Western Conference. I had a blast making these videos. Like I said, I meditated right before this, so I'm feeling very chill, very zen. It's a laid-back video. We did the Eastern Conference one yesterday, but if you like this kind of content, man, feel free to like and subscribe. It'd be fantastic. It really would, man. I love every time I get a like, or every time, you know, someone comments on the video. It's fantastic, man. Showing someone else watching out there, showing my creation. That's cool, man. That's really, really cool, and I really appreciate that. But it is your boy Hoops Life 24Q7. Come on, stay tuned, stay with me. Peace.